My name's Coley Stockton. I live in Juneau, Alaska. Juneau is great because there's a lot of outdoor activities. You can hike, you can bike, you can kayak, you can go camping. There's all kinds of places to go camping. There's rivers, there's lakes, and of course the ocean that you can get out on. It's a little bit bigger, so there's a little more to do than a smaller community in Southeast. It's a beautiful environment, a beautiful country. There's mountains, there's water, there's beaches. It's one of the best places to be. I don't believe we're alone in the universe. I think we've been visited a lot and for a long time. There's more up there in the sky than we think there is. They say that although we live in Alaska as part of the Alaskan Triangle, kind of like the Bermuda Triangle.
The Alaska Triangle is a 32,000 square mile chunk of land stretching from the bottom of the state to the top, where over 16,000 people have vanished without a trace. And there are hundreds of UFO sightings every year.
When I actually first saw something, I wasn't sure if it was real. There's a skepticism to a certain point, but once you see something and you know what you've seen, then that skepticism is definitely gone.
Coley had her first sighting on a camping trip with friends along the Juneau Channel, just a few miles from home in downtown Juneau.
So we were out camping out the road. It was sometime in the summer of 2016. It was dark at night, and someone came running and said, "Did you see that?" And I was like, "Did I see what?" And they turned around to point behind them and said, "That light." And all of a sudden, as they turned and pointed, a bright orange ball of light flashed and lit up the whole side of the campsite, the trees, the little hill that was next to it, and then it just disappeared. And that was it. That was gone. We didn't know what to think. It was pretty scary.
Little did they know, things were about to get even more terrifying.
We're sitting around going, what just happened? And all of a sudden, this huge ship went above us. There were two lights on it that were kind of a bluish green. They were kind of diagonal from each other. And it was so low that it was probably about the distance above me of the roof of a two-story house. It was right there. There was no wind from it, and it was huge, but it was completely silent.
Coley was petrified, too stunned to even move.
It was terrifying. It was pretty scary. You're kind of going, am I safe? There's nowhere to run. Where do I go if something does happen? I'm sure it could have done us harm if it wanted to.
After a few seemingly endless minutes, it sped away. Coley and her friends couldn't comprehend what they'd just witnessed.
I worked at an airport for a while. For something that big to be flying that low and that quiet, it must have had some sort of technology that was different than ours. And I've seen different kinds of aircrafts and military crafts flying through Alaska and through Southeast. We stayed up extra late just to see if we could see it again or if we'd see the lights. Because you have that apprehension at first, kind of going, okay, is this real? Did this really happen? Is this what I'm seeing? Is this what they saw?
The experience left Coley rattled for months. And in the summer of 2017, a second encounter made her start to wonder if she was somehow being targeted.
I was out hand trolling. We were anchored up in a bay across from where the first incident happened. And it was dark. We were sitting there. It was a nice night, clear, warm. We could look across the bay towards the other island on the side. And I could see these lights that looked like campfire lights at first, but then the lights were moving. And they'd disappear behind the island, and then they'd come back.
By now, curiosity was turning to concern.
We're out in the middle of a bay. No civilization around anywhere. It was a little scary.
And it was about to get even scarier.
Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a little bit later, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this bright ball of white light drops down on the bow of my boat and flashes and lights up the whole bay, the water, my boats, the trees along the water line. I was like, panic mode, and the person that was with me slammed the window shut on their side, which is just a little plexiglass window, and I was like, that's not gonna help you. There's no sound. There's no other boats around.
The women were sitting ducks. But just when it seemed like the light was about to swallow them up, it vanished as quickly as it appeared.
It just like disappeared. It was gone. Just disappeared. There was something there. There was something that dropped down on the bow of my boat. There was something that dropped down before camping. There's no explanation for it, but it happened.
Coley believed the same UFO had now visited her twice and could be back again. More than anything, she wanted proof.
You know, seen them in the sky before. I've never been able to take a picture or a video, you know, to where you can see that there's something there.
A year and a half later, in winter of 2018, she'd finally get her opportunity.
Totally clear night, cold. I was looking for the northern lights, really. And I walked out of our porch onto the concrete patio part, and I looked up at the sky, and I guess the third time's the charm. I look up and I see these lights in the sky, but this time I was actually able to get a couple videos and a couple pictures. I could see two of them in the sky, maybe about that far from the corner of that house, the roof of the house there. And between these trees over here, there were two more. You could see that some of the ones over here were actually looking like they were splitting in two. And then some of them you could see there was actual colors of the lights on them. Because they've become closer than when I've seen them in the sky before, you could actually really see the rotating lights. And I shared some of them on social media sites and actually got quite a bit of response because other people had seen similar shapes. It does make me feel good that other people have seen what I've seen. You know, you kind of think, is it just me? Even though you hear all these incidences, but when somebody else takes pictures that are incredibly similar to yours, it makes you feel a little more validated on what you're seeing. It's unmistakable that it's something.
While Coley takes some comfort knowing she's not alone, she still struggles to understand why these alien beings keep revealing themselves to her.
I don't really know what to think about seeing these things and having multiple experiences with it. All I know is that they've been there for quite a while and they're not going away. In my own opinion, I think that they are ships from someplace else. I don't know why I've had the experiences I've had. Other people know. They're seeing them in the sky.